There is a truth that no doctor has ever told you directly. Stopping masturbation at the age of 60, 65, 70, or even 80 can change your entire health, sexuality, and lifespan in ways you never imagined. I know it sounds hard to believe, but throughout more than 25 years as a urologist and geriatric doctor, I have witnessed thousands of older men come into my clinic with the same secret question. Doctor, I've stopped masturbating for over a month now. Is my body getting weaker because of it? Or is it actually making me healthier? Every time I hear that question, I see fear, worry, and shame in their eyes. Because for many men, masturbation isn't just about sexual release. It is the last thing they hold on to prove their masculinity, to feel that they are still alive, still strong, still desiring and longing. And when they are forced to stop, whether because of exhaustion, fear of harming their kidneys, rumors that masturbation causes cancer, or simply because they no longer feel aroused, they fear that they have truly become old, that they have truly become weak. But do you know something? The truth I'm about to tell you may shock you, because stopping masturbation is not just about desire or erections. It directly affects testosterone, the hormone that keeps your bones strong, your muscles firm, your memory sharp, and your heart beating healthily every day. A study published in the Journal of Urology found that men aged 60 and above who completely stop masturbating can face 3 potential risks. The first risk is a sudden drop in testosterone, leading to fatigue, joint pain, muscle loss, and increased belly fat. The second risk is impaired blood circulation in the pelvic region, which can cause penile fibrosis, reduced elasticity, and gradual shortening in size over time. And the third risk, something most men never expect, is a drop in dopamine, the hormone that brings happiness and motivation for life, leading to sluggishness, boredom, and even depression. However, stopping masturbation can also bring 2 major benefits if you adjust properly. First, it helps rebalance dopamine, reducing dependence on quick stimulation, thereby increasing focus, improving memory, and sharpening mental clarity. Second, it helps you conserve energy and raise baseline testosterone if you replace it with proper exercise and nutrition. Therefore, in today's video, I will explain to you what really happens to your testosterone, cardiovascular system, prostate, and brain if you stop masturbating. I will also show you how to maintain or adjust the right frequency so that you don't suffer from testosterone decline while still keeping your masculine strength, sleeping well, focusing effectively, and living healthily and confidently at 60, 70, or 80. Because I understand you don't want to spend your remaining years feeling tired, powerless, and meaningless. You want to get out of bed each morning, look in the mirror, and see a strong man full of vitality, proud of himself. And that is exactly what I will bring to you today. Are you ready? If you're ready, keep listening, because what I am about to share can change the way you live, the way you love, and the way you feel about yourself, forever. You know, when a man over 60 walks into my clinic, the first question he usually asks is not, "Doctor, how much longer will I live?" but rather, "Doctor, am I still a real man?" I have seen tearful eyes, heavy sighs, trembling voices as they tell me about the long nights lying awake, with no desire, no erections, no feeling of arousal, even with a gentle touch. And they are terrified. They fear that if they can no longer masturbate, no longer get an erection, then their manhood has been swept away by time, forever. I still remember very clearly one of my patients, a 68-year-old man. He used to be a construction contractor, strong and imposing, able to command dozens of workers with a single word. Yet on the day he walked into my clinic, his posture was hunched, his voice a whisper as if afraid others might hear. He said, "Doctor, I've stopped masturbating for over 2 months now. I thought it would be good for my kidneys. But now I feel so weak, I can't sleep at night. In the mornings, I no longer see my penis hard like before. My heart beats fast and I feel utterly exhausted. I'm so worried, doctor. I'm afraid I'm about to die, or at the very least, that my time has truly passed." I placed my hand on his shoulder and looked him straight in the eye. What I saw there was not just the fear of illness. It was the fear of a man who felt he no longer had any value, no longer had any strength, no longer had the pride he had built his entire life. And I knew he wasn't alone in feeling that way, because there are thousands, millions of men out there silently enduring this fear, unable to speak about it, even unwilling to admit it to themselves. They fear being seen as perverted if they masturbate, fear being seen as weak if they confess they can't get an erection, and fear being seen as old and useless if they no longer have desire. But my dear friend, I want you to understand one thing very clearly. Sexual desire, erections, or masturbation are not just primal pleasures. They are signs of survival, one of the most important indicators of a man's health. When you still have desire, still wake up with morning erections, it means your heart is still pumping blood strongly, your blood vessels are still elastic, your nerves are still responsive, and your testosterone is still working to keep your bones strong, your muscles firm, your brain sharp, and your spirit optimistic. On the other hand, when you gradually lose desire, when you stop masturbating without replacing it with a proper lifestyle, your testosterone drops rapidly, leading to fatigue, joint pain, muscle weakness, loss of confidence, and even depression. That is why today, I want you to let go of all those outdated beliefs and listen with your whole heart. Because age does not take away your manhood. Only false beliefs and wrong decisions can do that. And I am here not just to answer the question, is stopping masturbation good or not, but to help you regain your confidence, your pride, and your sense of control over your life, something that no money, no medicine, and no one else can give you except yourself. Do you know what is the most dangerous thing when an older man decides to stop masturbating? It's not the act of stopping itself, but the reason why and how he stops. Throughout more than 25 years working in urology and geriatrics, I have heard countless answers. Doctor, I stopped because I was afraid it would harm my kidneys. I stopped because people say it causes brain shrinkage. I stopped because I feel ashamed, embarrassed, guilty. And all of these answers reflect a false belief that society has instilled in us men for centuries. Think back to your younger days. Back then, masturbation was simply a way to relieve sexual tension, explore your body, maintain prostate health, keep testosterone stable, and create a natural sense of pleasure that helped you sleep better, focus more, and work more energetically. But as you got older, society, friends, and even unscientific articles began planting baseless warnings in your mind. Masturbation damages your kidneys. Masturbation causes cancer. Masturbation weakens your heart. Masturbation is sinful. And you started fearing your own natural needs. You forced yourself to stop, even though deep down you still had smoldering desires. This is the truth I want to reverse for you today. Masturbation is not harmful if you know how to do it properly, know your limits, and integrate it into a healthy scientific lifestyle. On the contrary, stopping masturbation suddenly without replacing it with exercise, nutrition, and other testosterone-boosting habits is what kills men's health the fastest. Because when you stop, dopamine, the hormone that creates pleasure and life motivation, drops sharply. Testosterone, which is partly activated by sexual desire, also decreases. When testosterone drops, you will clearly see your muscles become flabby, your joints ache, belly fat accumulates rapidly, your voice becomes weak, your memory worsens, your spirit becomes lethargic, and the most frightening of all, your desire gradually disappears, and your penis gradually loses its ability to become erect. I had a 72-year-old patient who used to masturbate regularly once or twice a week, but after reading an article claiming masturbation after 70 causes prostate cancer, he decided to stop immediately. 3 months later, he came back to see me with a pale face and said softly, "Doctor, I no longer feel like a man. I'm tired, I have no appetite, I can't sleep at night. I no longer have morning erections. My heart beats fast, and I feel short of breath." After examining him, I found his testosterone had dropped by nearly 30% in just 3 months. This wasn't due to age, but because he had suddenly cut off a natural reflex that his body had maintained for decades. But don't think masturbation is a magic medicine. Excessive masturbation, Using it to escape stress or to chase quick dopamine highs will also destroy your testosterone. The problem doesn't lie in whether you masturbate or stop masturbating. The problem lies in how you understand it, how you integrate it with your lifestyle, exercise, nutrition, and mindset. That is why today I am here to tell you, stopping masturbation does not immediately make you weak, but it can bring many consequences if you do not fully understand the hormonal mechanisms within your body. And next I will show you, step by step, what really happens inside your body when you stop masturbating and how you can maintain your desire, testosterone, cardiovascular health, brain health, and your masculine strength, even when you are 60, 65, 70, 75, or 80 years old. Keep listening, because what I'm about to share can forever change the way you see your sexual health in your age. My dear friend, I know that right now you may be feeling confused. You might be asking yourself, so should I continue or should I stop? What should I do to not lose my manhood, but also not harm my health? That is the question thousands of my patients have asked me over the years. And I want you to understand, today I am not here just to answer your question. I am here to give you a clear, scientific, and safest path so that you can live your years at 60, 65, 70, 75, and even 80 with confidence, strength, and pride. Because in this video, I will reveal to you all the silent truths that no doctor has ever clearly told you about masturbation and aging. I will analyze every physiological impact that stopping masturbation causes, from testosterone, dopamine, sleep, the nervous system to your heart and prostate. I will explain why many men, after stopping masturbation, experience erectile dysfunction, loss of desire, and depression, while others feel healthier, more focused, clearer-minded, and more confident. I will help you understand how masturbation affects testosterone and how testosterone affects your muscles, joints, memory, emotions, and even your lifespan. Not only that, I will also guide you on how to adjust your masturbation frequency according to each age, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, in a way that is safe and naturally activates testosterone without draining your energy. Replace the habit of masturbation with exercises, nutrition, breathing techniques, and the most powerful ways to stimulate endogenous testosterone production that I have applied to thousands of patients over the past 25 years. Maintain morning erections, keep your natural desire, ensure good blood circulation, a strong heart, a clear mind, and most importantly, that feeling of I am still truly a man every single day. Avoid the three most common mistakes that men over 60 often make when deciding to stop masturbation. Mistakes that may seem small, but can completely destroy your sexual and mental health in just a few months. I promise you, after this video, you will no longer feel confused, ashamed, guilty, or afraid whenever you think about whether to masturbate or not. Instead, you will understand your body clearly, understand the mechanisms of testosterone, dopamine, and cardiovascular health to make the most accurate decision for yourself. Because I believe that a man who understands his body and health is the strongest, most confident, and most admirable man, whether he is 60, 65, 70, or 80 years old. And you know the knowledge I am about to share will not only make you healthier, but will also help you live longer and live more fully, so that every morning you can look in the mirror and see, yes, I am still me. I am still the man I am proud of. Are you ready to discover the truth and change your life? If you are ready, keep listening, because what I am about to reveal may be the greatest gift you ever give yourself on the journey ahead. My dear friend, imagine your body as a sophisticated machine where every tiny part plays an important role. When you decide to stop masturbating, a series of physiological changes begin to take place, silently but more powerfully than any storm. First, you need to understand that masturbation is not simply about relieving sexual desire. Every time you reach orgasm, your body releases a large amount of dopamine, the hormone that brings pleasure, motivation for life, confidence, and happiness. This is why, after masturbation, many men feel relaxed, sleep better, and their minds feel lighter. But when you suddenly stop, this dopamine level drops sharply. If you do not replace it with other activities that also activate dopamine, such as exercise, meditation, or social interaction, you will fall into a state of lethargy, boredom, or even depression. Next is testosterone, the core male hormone that determines everything: muscles, bones, and joints, memory, sexual desire, confidence, and masculine charisma. When you masturbate in moderation, especially when reaching orgasm through sexual intercourse, testosterone is released strongly. But if you masturbate too frequently, your baseline testosterone will decrease because your body becomes exhausted from losing too much zinc and seminal nutrients. Conversely, if you completely stop without incorporating testosterone-boosting exercises, your pituitary gland and testicles will gradually reduce testosterone production. The consequences are shrinking muscle mass, weaker bones, rapid accumulation of belly fat, a weaker voice, poor memory, and most dangerously, loss of desire. I have witnessed men aged 60 to 65 who, within just 3 to 6 months of stopping masturbation or sexual activity without replacing it with exercise, experienced a 20 to 40% drop in testosterone, leaving them weak, fatigued, and completely lacking confidence when stepping out into society. Another silent impact that few mention is the cardiovascular system. Every time you orgasm, blood is pumped strongly to the penis, then spreads throughout the body, creating a reflex that dilates blood vessels, naturally exercising the heart. When you completely stop, if you do not do other cardiovascular exercises like brisk walking, weight training, or HIIT, the risk of atherosclerosis, high blood pressure, and heart failure will silently increase. And there is also the prostate, the gland that produces seminal fluid. When you stop ejaculating for too long, the prostate fluid accumulates, increasing the risk of prostatitis and even enlargement or cancer. A study published in European Urology showed that men who ejaculate 21 times a month have a 20 to 30% lower risk of prostate cancer compared to those who only ejaculate 4 to 7 times a month. But don't panic. Stopping masturbation does not equate to illness if you know how to replace it properly. I have guided thousands of my patients to stop masturbation safely by combining weight training 30 to 45 minutes a day to activate testosterone, brisk walking at least 30 minutes to increase dopamine, deep breathing meditation for 15 minutes to relieve stress, consuming enough zinc from seafood, red meat, eggs, and eating at least 2 to 3 types of cruciferous vegetables daily, such as broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and kale, to reduce excess estrogen. As a result, after just 4 to 8 weeks, they not only maintain their testosterone levels, but also increased natural desire, regained morning erections, slept deeper, felt sharper mentally, had a stronger voice, and their eyes shone with vitality. You see, a man's strength does not lie in whether he masturbates or not, but in how he understands, takes care of, and optimizes his body. And I promise, if you continue to listen to the following parts, you will gain the key to maintaining that strength until your 80s. Still driving, still mowing the lawn, still taking care of your wife and children, and still proudly holding your head high as the man you have always longed to become. My dear friend, throughout more than 25 years treating thousands of men aged 60, 65, 70, 75, and even 80, I have realized that most of them don't fail because of age, but because of mistakes that seem harmless, yet are extremely dangerous. And when it comes to stopping masturbation, there are 3 mistakes I have witnessed repeatedly. Mistakes that rob them of their health, confidence, and manhood in just a few months. The first mistake is stopping masturbation suddenly without replacing it with other testosterone-activating activities. I once had a 70-year-old patient who used to maintain a gentle masturbation habit once or twice a week. After hearing from friends that masturbation harms the kidneys, he decided to stop immediately. Within just 2 months, he returned to see me, walking slowly, his eyes tired. He said, "Doctor, I'm so exhausted. My body has no strength. I can't sleep at night. I no longer get morning erections, and I feel so empty and sad inside." When I checked, his testosterone had dropped by over 30%. Stopping masturbation itself isn't wrong, but when you stop without replacing it with weight training, brisk walking, yoga, deep breathing, or any activity that naturally activates testosterone, your body will enter a rapid hormone decline. It's like unplugging a lamp without installing a battery replacement. The light goes out immediately. The second mistake is relying on supplements or sexual enhancement drugs instead of making natural adjustments. I know many advertisements promise that just one pill will bring back your erections, skyrocket your testosterone, and make you feel 10 years younger. But the reality is different. Those products only create artificial stimulation, forcing your body to react, while the root causes, nutrition, exercise, sleep, mindset, remain unaddressed. The consequence is that within weeks your body becomes resistant to the medication. Testosterone plummets, your liver and kidneys become damaged, and your overall health collapses rapidly. I once had to perform an emergency intervention for a 67-year-old patient who suffered a stroke after taking an unverified sexual enhancement drug to compensate for his loss of desire after he stopped masturbating. The third mistake, and also the most dangerous one, is staying silent and not sharing your problem with a doctor or qualified expert. I understand masturbation is a private matter, hard to talk about, especially for men who have been powerful and dignified their whole lives. But when you stay silent, trying to solve it yourself with fragmented information, false beliefs, and fear, you trap yourself in a cycle of loneliness and despair. You fear being seen as weak if you admit you've lost desire. You fear being seen as perverted if you say you masturbate. And you fear being seen as old and useless if you say you can no longer get an erection. But my dear friend, the truth is, the bravest person is not the one who hides his pain, but the one who dares to face it and find healing. Therefore, if you want to stop masturbating, avoid these three mistakes. Don't stop suddenly without replacing it with exercise. Don't rely on unverified pills or supplements. And don't keep silent. Remember, a confident, strong, and masculine life does not come from whether you masturbate or not. It comes from how you understand, listen to, and take care of your body every day. And in the final part, I will show you the safest, most scientific, and most effective path to maintaining your testosterone, sexual health, and manhood at 60, 70, and 80. A path that thousands of my patients have taken, and none of them have ever regretted. My dear friend, at this point, I am certain you have understood an important truth. Age will never take away your manhood unless you allow it to. Stopping masturbation does not make you weak, nor does it automatically make you strong. Everything depends on how you understand your body, how you nourish your testosterone, how you exercise, eat, sleep, and maintain a strong mindset every day. I have witnessed far too many men aged 60, 65, 70, 75, and even 80 come into my clinic with tired, hopeless eyes, thinking that they are old, weak, and useless just because they no longer have desire or cannot achieve erections like before. But I have also seen those same men, after just a few weeks or months, when they understand correctly and make the right changes, walk out of my clinic with bright eyes, standing tall, speaking strongly, and smiling proudly. They not only regain their desire, their testosterone, their erections, but more importantly, they regain their pride, their confidence, and their sense of control over their lives, something that no one, no age, no illness can ever take away. So today, I want you to ask yourself one question. How do I want to live the rest of my life? Do you want to wake up every morning, look in the mirror, and see a tired man with cold hands and feet, lifeless eyes, and a heart full of fear? Or do you want to see a man with bright eyes, a strong voice, a steady posture, warm hands, a heart beating powerfully, and a spirit full of vitality, love, and pride? You have the choice, and that choice begins right this moment, when you decide to no longer be afraid, to no longer stay silent, and to no longer believe in false notions. When you decide to understand your body, to listen to it, to take care of it, and to nourish it with proper nutrition, proper exercise, adequate sleep, and conscious decisions. I believe you will find the strongest man within you again, the man your wife is proud of, your children and grandchildren respect, and the man whom you yourself love and admire every single day. If this video has brought you value, please click like so. I know you are still here and staying strong with me on this journey. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any silent yet important truths about men's health, sexuality, and longevity. And if you want me to make a more detailed video about safe masturbation frequency according to each age, please comment number 8 below. I read all your comments because to me, every man on this channel deserves to live strong, healthy, and confidently. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I am Dr. Authority, and I am always here, walking with you on this journey to preserve your manhood, your health, and your pride, today, tomorrow, and forever.